Welcome to Spectrum News Within the Week. I am Rachel David White, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu tenders academic records for Chicago State University. Others. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Oino announces government revitalization of Dakota Global Oil Palms Limited. Plus, UK Foreign Secretary calls for expansion of UN Security Council. Details of these and stories and many more in a moment. First, in the news within the week, is a report that President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday tendered copies of his educational records from the Chicago State University before the Presidential Election Petition Court, PEPC, as he opened his defense in the petition by Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party, also tendered by the lawyer Wole Olanikwekun, senior advocate of Nigeria, is a 2007 letter from the United States Embassy in Nigeria absolving Tinubu of any criminal liability in the U.S. and a letter of request from the Nigeria Police Force (NPF) to the U.S. Embassy. The academic records from the Chicago State University, 12 documents in all, were certified on June 28, 2023 by. Also tendered are 6 copies of documents relating to immigration and visa records of trips made in the U.S. by Tinubu between 2011 and 2021, among other documents. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu on Monday urged the newly appointed service chiefs to work as a team, underscoring that there is work to be done. Tinubu made the remark when he met the new National Security Advisor (NSA) Nuhu Ribadu and the new service chiefs for the first time since their appointment on June 19, 2023. In a chat with State House correspondents, the NSA conveyed the president's assurances to the service chiefs that they have his unwavering support. Ribadu, who said that service chiefs pledged their loyalty to the president and Nigerians, also underlined their commitment to work tirelessly to secure the country. He added that the president made the right choices in the selection of service chiefs and expect them to deliver. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu within the week met with the Shell Global Upstream Director Zoe Yunovic at the Presidential Villa Abuja. The Group Chief Executive Officer, GCEO of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL), Mele Kyari, was present at the meeting. The meeting was Tinubu's first official engagement after the summer festivities and his foreign trips to France on June 20th and London on June 24th, respectively. Yunovic, who assumed office as upstream director on July 1st, has been a member of the Shell Executive Committee since 2021. According to reports, she arrived at the Aso Rock Villa with 3 other Shell officials around 11:45 a.m. on Monday and was ushered into the president's office complex for the meeting scheduled for 12 noon. Reports reveal that the meeting was part of ongoing consultations with leaders from the oil and gas sector since his administration got on board. Elsewhere, President Bola Tinubu within the week met with the immediate past Minister of Education, Adamu, at the State House, Abuja. Adamu, who arrived at the Aso Rock Presidential Villa at about 1:30 p.m. on Monday, was ushered into the office complex for the closed-door meeting with the president. Although the agenda of their discussion was not made public, it comes amidst uncertainties and speculations about the president's ministerial list. Away from that, the federal government is set to make about 12 billion naira a year from the 1,000 proof of ownership certificates POC verification fee motorists are to pay. Recall that last week, the Permanent Secretary, Lagos Ministry of Transportation, Abdulafiz Toriola, stated that the certificate will help vehicle owners and the government theft and recovery of stolen vehicles. Toriola, while stating that Lagos would begin collection of POC fees from the beginning of July, said the certificate will serve as official documentation for a vehicle's legal ownership. He added that the POC will contain vital information including the vehicle's registration details, such as license number, plate, model, year of manufacture, in addition to the owner's name and address. Meanwhile, the federal government is set to reduce the importation of drugs in the country from 60% to 40% to promote the local manufacturing of drugs. The special advisor to the President on Health, Salma Anas Ibrahim, made this disclosure at a workshop organized to strengthen the World Health Organization Nigeria Country Cooperation Strategy in Abuja. According to Anas Ibrahim, this is part of President Bola Tinubu's priority agenda to bridge the gap in the country's health sector. Other priority areas include increase and improve access to equal health care services, national health insurance for at least 40% of Nigeria's population to ensure all citizens, including the vulnerable group, are beneficiaries. From the red chambers now, there is emerged as consensus. The new officers were Senator Opeyemi Bamidele from Ekiti State as Senate Leader, Senator Dave Umahi from Ebonyi State as Deputy Chief Whip. Akpabio also announced the names of minority principal officers to include Senator Simon Davo, Plateau North, PDP, Minority Leader, Oyewumi Olarere Osun West, PDP Deputy Minority Leader, Darlington Nwokocha, Abia Central Labour Party Minority Whip, and Rufai Hanga, Kano Central NPP Deputy Minority Whip, among others. In a related development, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, on Tuesday named Julius Ihonbere, APC Edo, as the majority leader of the 10th House of Representatives, and other principal officers. Julius represents on federal constituency of Edo State, while Chinder is representing Ohio and Akpo federal constituency of Rivers State. Other principal officers from the majority caucus named included Abdullahi Halim's APC Kogi as Deputy Majority Leader, Usman Kumo APC Gombe as a Chief Whip, while Adewumi Onanuga APC Ogun was named the Deputy Majority Whip. Also from the minority party, Ali Issa PDP Gombe emerged the Minority Whip. Ali Madaki NNPP Kano was named the Deputy Minority Leader, and George Ozodinobi Labour Party Anambra emerged the Deputy Minority Whip. Speaking on the formation of committee, Abbas said the constitution of the committee was ongoing, adding that it would cut across party affiliations. Meanwhile, the Senator Abdullahi Adamu led National Working Committee and WC of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC on Tuesday disowned the majority leadership positions announced by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and House Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, saying the party has not officially communicated the presiding officers. National Chairman of the party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, made the declaration on Tuesday at a meeting with governors of the party. Away from that, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) on Monday said it will prosecute 215 cases of electoral offences committed during the 2023 general elections nationwide. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu stated these while addressing all the resident electoral commissioners at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. He added that the electoral body will work closely with the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA), which he said is willing to prosecute the cases free of charge. Analyzing the polls, Yakubu said the 2023 general elections were the most prepared for when compared to previously held elections. According to him, the February 25th presidential and National Assembly elections were held as scheduled. He added that the bimodal voter accreditation system (BVAS) machines deployed for accreditation performed optimally. Moving now to the judiciary, where the National Industrial Court on Tuesday ordered the Police Service Commission to pay retired Assistant Inspector General of Police Joseph Mbu the sum of 14 million naira as general damages. The payment, as ordered by Justice Osato Hamwen Obasaki Osage, was for the unlawful retirement of Mbu before the age of 60 years. The court, in addition, set aside the purported retirement and declared that the claimant remained an officer of the Nigeria Police until he attained the mandatory retirement age of 60 on May 10, 2018. Furthermore, the court ordered the defendant to pay Mbu his salaries, allowances, and entitlement from July 2, 2016, when he was retired, until May 10, 2018, when he ought to have retired, having attained 60 years. The judge, while delivering the judgment, ordered that the sum of 750,000 naira be paid to the claimant as a cost of suit, stating that failure of the defendant to comply with the orders of the court within 30 days will attract a 10% interest per annum. The court, however, declined the relief of promotion to the position of DIG and reinstatement sought by the claimant. In education, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAB, on Tuesday barred Ejikeme Mesoma from sitting for the examination for 3 years and controversy surrounding her results. The JAB spokesman, Fabian Benjamin, disclosed this in a statement to newsmen. According to him, the board stands by its decisions that the result being paraded by the candidates was fake. Recall that Mesoma claimed that she scored 362, but JAB refuted it, noting that she scored 249. In another development, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) has urged President Bola Tinubu to urgently publish details of spending of about 400 billion naira so far saved as a result of the removal of petrol subsidy. The organization stated this in a letter signed by its Deputy Director, Kolawale Oluwadare. SERAP said the federal government had saved 400 billion naira within the 4 weeks following the implementation of the policy on the removal of payment of subsidy on petrol. The group also demanded for the mechanism that had been put in place to ensure that such savings were not embezzled, misappropriated, or delivered into private pockets. The organization urged Tinubu to promptly instruct the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) and Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) to monitor the spending of all savings from subsidy removal. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omoina on Monday announced that the government is fully ready for the immediate takeover of the Dakada Global Oil Palms Limited, formerly known as the Akwa Palms, to see to its complete revamping and revival to serve its purpose. Speaking during an inspection of the facility in Esreket local government area, Governor Eno disclosed that the resuscitation of the oil palm plantation will enable the government to benefit from the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN's) Oil Palm Development Initiative. The governor, who noted that the revamping of the farm would not only attract investment into the state, but would create jobs for teeming unemployed youth, also announced government readiness to open up the road leading to the plantation and will ensure that it is tarred and power supply plus adequate security is provided for the smooth running of the place. While commending the immediate past governor of the state, Udomimano, for the foresight and giving the leeway for the commencement of the revitalization of the place, the governor said his inspection was to assess the level of work done with the initial funds that was approved and released by the then Governor Imano. He therefore expert area in Yobon Robson, who spoke on behalf of the 3 local government areas of Esreket, Urafong, Roko, and Bo local government areas where the plantation is situated, applauded the governor for his determination to ensure and see to it that a means of livelihood is created for them. Government House correspondent Jen Owa reports that the event also featured the official declaration by the youth leaders and elders of the 6 host communities making up the 3 local government areas where the farm is situated, of their readiness to join hands with the state government to ensure that the massive oil palm plantation bounces back to life. In the meantime, Governor Eno on Monday led the state of his family in the recent tragic auto crash that claimed 12 lives that were returning from a church event in Lagos State. Governor Eno, who was accompanied by his deputy, Senator Akone Aganyi, the secretary to the state government, Prince Enobong Uwa, member representing Eket State constituency, Dr. Nsidaba Kata, amongst other government functionaries, assured them of government support in these trying times. He prayed for the peaceful repose of the departed soul. In his response, Eto'opan thanked the governor for his thoughtfulness in identifying with the family during the difficult period, stressing that it was a commendable and has given him a sense of belonging. The governor, who had earlier sent a condolence message to the church and families of the deceased, promised to visit the affected churches consequently. Meanwhile, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omoino within a week announced that he is set to establish a business school to train and develop entrepreneurs to enable them excel in their small and medium-scale enterprises, in line with the Arise Agenda vision of his administration. The state governor announced this when he addressed a congregation at All Nations Christian Ministry International, where he, accompanied by his wife, Patience Omoino, worshipped at Eket local government area of the state. The governor hinted that the Ministry of Trade and Investment had been mandated to take stock of entrepreneurs for possible assistance from government. Preaching on the theme, activating the marvelous help of God, Pastor Eno advised that everyone should strive to work hard in order to earn a living by decent and responsible means. Still to come in the news. Federal government to collect VAT from market traders, others. To stay tuned.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. Moving now to Africa, where the Malawi Financial Crimes Court on Monday ruled that Vice President Saulos Chilima should be given more time to go through his charge sheet before he enters a plea in the corruption case he is facing. Chilima was in court in the capital, Lilongwe, for the start of a case in which the Anti-Corruption Bureau, ACB, is accusing him of receiving $280,000 and other unnamed items from a British businessman. According to report, he was arrested in November and granted bail, but the case has since been transferred to the Financial Crimes Court following a request from the ACB. Chilima, who is on record as saying charges against him are politically motivated, is yet to give his response in court. And still in Africa, a group of parents in the Gambia, have begun legal action against the government, an Indian pharmaceutical company and a medicine importer, following the death of their children, which have been linked to cough syrup manufactured in India. The 19 parents are seeking about $4.7 million in damages. According to reports, a team of lawyers from the Gambia Bar Association and Female Lawyers Association of the Gambia are representing the parents. The wants the Health Ministry and the Medicines Controls Agency to admit they failed in their duties to regulate the importation, distribution, and sale of medicines in the country. They are also asking for a declaration that their children did in fact died from the cough syrup and want the importer's license to be withdrawn. Meanwhile, a parliamentary committee in the Gambia had recommended the prosecution of modern pharmaceuticals, but said the children's cause of death was still being investigated. Meanwhile, Kenya's President William Ruto within a week lifted a ban on logging imposed 6 years ago. The president said the move was overdue, citing the need to create jobs and open sectors in the economy that depend on forest products. He said the lifting of the ban comes as the government pushes on with its plan to plant 15 billion trees. Change prompted the ban in 2018. In the meantime, a court in Kenya within a week released on bail a woman whose husband is accused of being responsible for the deaths of hundreds of people. Rhoda Maweo, who is married to a cult leader and self-styled pastor Paul Mackenzie, had been in custody for 62 days. But when it came to Mackenzie himself, along with 16 other police to hold the suspect for so long. But the magistrate says their continued detention is justified because it is in the public interest. At least 339 people linked to the Good News International Church are believed to have either starved themselves to death, were badly beaten or strangled at the forest of Shakahola in southeastern Kenya. Meanwhile, the Kenya Red Cross says 600 people are still missing. Elsewhere, South Africa's largest opposition party on Tuesday teamed up with 6 small groups to build a coalition aimed at ousting the long-ruling ANC in next year's election. The Democratic Alliance, which has a fifth of the seats in the parliament, is in the forefront. Reports say the leaders of the 7 parties will hold what they dubbed historic talks on August 16th and 17th in Johannesburg to map out a common vision for a new government. Meanwhile, the governing African National Congress ANC, which has been in power for nearly 3 decades, and an electricity crisis. On a foreign scene, the British Foreign Secretary James Cleverly on Monday said the Global South should be given a more powerful voice at the world's table by expanding the United Nations Security Council. Cleverly also called for a review of the use of the veto by the Council's 5 permanent concerns to them. In a speech billed as the first in praise of the global multilateral system by a conservative foreign secretary for 30 years, he said he had listened carefully to the Global South's leader and that they felt wealthy countries were hoarding powers and neglecting other responsibilities. Cleverly said power was shifting to Latin America and the Indo-Pacific, and that it would be countries in these regions that would begin a large-scale military raid, including drone strikes and hundreds of troops in the nothing-occupied West Bank, killing 8 Palestinians in what the army labeled as extensive counter-terrorism efforts. The operation under the hard-right government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is the biggest of its kind in years, with bulldozers, armored vehicles, and unarmed aerial vehicles. Reports say troops were inside the camp and also around the city, adding that there were gun battle explosions and Palestinians threw rocks at Israeli troops. Meanwhile, Israel had a strong hold of Palestinian armed groups and where there has been a spate of attack on Israelis as well as attacks by Jewish settlers on Palestinian communities. Meanwhile, the last surviving Frenchman to participate in the Allied invasion of Normandy in 1944 rather, Leon Gautier died on Monday at the age of 100. Gautier was among 177 Frenchmen who participated in the landings on June 6, 1944, which marked the made up of French fighters who continued to battle the Nazis alongside the U.S., Britain and other Allied forces even after the French government surrendered to Germany in 1940. He died in hospital in Seine early Monday. The mayor of Neby, Amsterdam, Romain Bell, said, close to the Normandy breaches, where the fierce battles are commemorated every year. Meanwhile, the landings on June 6, 1944, known as a D-Day, were the largest amphibious wartime operation ever. In the meantime, mayors of France have called for people to rally outside town halls to protest the violence and looting. In a press release by an association of the country's mayors, communes everywhere in the country have become the scene of serious unrest and they cannot let the country succumb to chaos. The release also made reference to an alleged attack on a suburban Paris mayor home, in which rioters fired rockets at the officials, fleeing wife and children. Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron will on Tuesday meet the mayors of 220 municipal areas that have been affected by the violence. And still on the foreign scene, Hong Kong police on Tuesday offered $1 million bounties for information leading to the capture of 8 prominent democracy activists based abroad and wanted for national security crimes. All 8 fled Hong Kong after Beijing imposed a sweeping national security law on the financial hub in mid-2020. The coup descended after a huge, sometimes violent pro-democracy protests in 2019 were quashed. The group includes former pro-democracy lawmakers Nathan Law, Kun Chung, Ted Hui Fong and Dennis Kwok Wing Hang, and veteran unionist Mung Soo Tat. The remaining 4 are activists Elma Yuengong-yi, Fing Lao Chodik, Anna Kwok Fung Yi, and Kevin Yam King Fong. According to a report, all 8 are alleged to have concluded with foreign forces to endanger national security, an offense that carries a sentence of up to life imprisonment. Meanwhile, some have also been accused of subversion, incitement to subversion, and secession. Elsewhere, Saudi Arabia on Monday put to death 5 people convicted of carrying out a deadly attack on a house of worship. State media said the biggest group execution this year. The 5 men, 4 Saudis and 1 Egyptian national, were tried for an attack that killed 5 people and injured an untold number of others in the kingdom's east, home to most Saudi oil and most members of its Shiite minority. Meanwhile, an Interior Ministry statement published by the official Saudi press agency did not specify when the attack took place or what type of house of worship was targeted. And it also did not specify the method of execution used, but the kingdom has carried out beheadings in the past. This brought to 68 the total number of people put to death so far by Saudi Arabia, a frequent target for criticism by right groups who object to its prolific use of capital punishment. Meanwhile, hundreds of protesters gathered on Tuesday at Israel's Ben Gurion Airport near Tel Aviv for the latest demonstration against the government and its planned legal reform. Blowing horns, banging drums, and holding placards reading "Democracy will win." The crowd blocked the access to vehicles to the airport's main international arrival and departure terminal. Meanwhile, opponents of the controversial overhaul proposals, who would give politicians more power over the court, believe they could open the way to more of authoritarian government. Demonstrators have kept up the pressure with weekly rallies against the government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who returned to power in December at the head of a coalition with ultra-Orthodox Jewish and extreme-right allies. Elsewhere, Rome's 2,000-year-old Pantheon started charging for entrance on Monday, with tourists paying €5 to see Italy's most visited cultural site. The building, one of the city's oldest and best loved, is currently a consecrated church, and part of the proceeds from ticket sales will go towards the Diocese of Rome, while the rest will go to the Culture Ministry. Meanwhile, minors and Rome residents are exempted from paying. And now in business, the Nigerian government, through the Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS), on Tuesday announced the VAT Direct initiative, a scheme aimed towards enabling the government to collect value-added taxes from the informal sector and reduce multiple taxations in the informal economy. The FIRS discloses in a statement noting that it would partner with the Market Traders Association of Nigeria (MATAN) to collect and remit VAT from its members, particularly those in the informal sector, using a unified systems technology. According to the FIRS, the scheme will help tackle multiple taxations in the marketplace through partnerships with security agencies to curb the activities of tout and self-imposed tax collectors. And still in business, the federal government within the week warned carbon emission reduction traders who were trading without recourse to designated authorities to desist from such activities. The federal government's warning came in Abuja at the validation workshop for the assessment of carbon pricing and pricing initiative in Nigeria, as it explained that the country had released an initial regulatory guidance which emphasized the need for a carbon trading scheme. Speaking at the workshop, the Director General National Council on Climate Change, a federal government agency, Salisu Dahiru, stated that the regulatory guidance would be tailored towards the government's priority and would align with Nigeria's nationally determined contribution on carbon emission, hence should not be altered. According to him, carbon trading scheme was an aspect of its national policy and national priority to put in place all the measures that could address the country's mitigation and adaptation challenges. Meanwhile, power consumers have kicked against the export of about 23.13 billion naira worth of electricity from Nigeria to some neighboring countries in 2022, despite the widespread darkness witnessed in many Nigerian communities. The latest data on the remittances by international customers obtained from the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission in Abuja show that Nigeria continued its exports of electricity to the republics of Benin and Niger, as well as some special categories of consumers. Reports say the total value of exported electricity from Nigeria in 2022 was $50.98 million, but the international customers remitted $32.69 million, an equivalent of 15.1 billion naira. Iga Swiatek wins opener Jessica Pegula advances. To stay with us.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting education, health,
lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyekene
every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
Every society is premised on the quality of relationships forged by its inhabitants. The health of these relationships determines how well people, relationships, organizations thrive and how long they stick together. Join Uyai Anyekan on Connect every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and on Sunday 2:30 to 3 p.m. on channel 421 on Star Times to catch all the conversations, interviews, real stories on how to navigate relationships and family life in the 21st century. Real people, real faces, real stories. Connect live on Spectrum Television.
The Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding you, your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. Let's get back to the health sector. In health, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, on Monday certified that Golden Penny, Semovita and Alvis Semolina products do not contain plastic or any similar contaminant. The agency said this in response to a social media video showing a woman washing Golden Penny Semovita in a sieve using cold water, with the claim that the residue she got after sieving was plastic. NAFDAC noted that a similar video was shown in 2020, which the agency had addressed at the time. NAFDAC Director General Moji Adeyeye, in a statement today, within the week, said the agency confirmed that the claim was not true after an appropriate analytical testing in its internationally accredited laboratories. The agency added that Semovita contained the expected components plus the required vitamin A, describing the claim in a viral video as misleading. Still in health, the Federal Capital Territory FCT administration on Thursday announced the outbreak of diphtheria infection in some parts of Abuja. The Director, FCT Public Health Department, Dr. Sadiq Abdul Rahman, met the disclosure during a news conference. Dr. Abdul Rahman said that the disease had already killed a 4-year-old. He called the outbreak of the disease had earlier been confirmed in Lagos, Kano, and Ondo states in January, noting that it triggered a national response by the National Center for Disease. The director tasked residents to embrace personal hygiene and to report any strange symptoms, particularly one relating to respiratory distress, to the relevant authorities. To sports now, where top seed Iga Swiatek laid down a marker on day one at Wimbledon with a dominant performance over China's Zhu Lin. Swiatek won 6-1, 6-3 against the world number 34, who was one of the highest-ranked players she could have faced. Poland's Swiatek, 22, is considered one of the favorites for the women's title, but has never managed to go beyond the fourth round on the grass in SW19. However, the French Open and US Open champion began her quest to add another major on another surface and style. Still in sports, Kenya's Titus Akiru, sixth fastest man in history in the marathon, is facing a potential 10-year ban after receiving a provisional suspension for doping. The Athletics Integrity Unit, ARU, said on Monday. Akiru has 2 marathon wins to his name, including victory in Milan in May 2021 in the exceptionally fast time of 2 hours 2 minutes 57 seconds. The 31-year-old tested positive for triamcinolone, acetonide, and a glucocorticoid. After winning in Milan, Akiru was previously and provisionally suspended last month, pending the outcome of both wide-ranging investigations, which include crucial collaborations with the anti-doping agency of Kenya, ADAK, and other Kenyan authorities. Meanwhile, the Mantas Sabonis and the Sacramento King have agreed to 5-year contract extension worth $217 million. The deal includes $195 million in new money. Sabonis agents said. Meanwhile, the Kings are using the salary cap to deliver an additional $8.6 million to raise Sabonis' earnings for 2023 to 2024 to $30.6 million and will add a 4-year extension that will give him nearly $200 million more ever to the life of the contract. Reports say Sabonis' first full season with the Kings in 2023 to 2024 was an excellent one. He averaged 19.1 points, 12.3 rebounds, and 7.3 assists, while shooting 61.5% from the field as he made third team All-NBA led by Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. The Kings won the Pacific Division title and ended a 16-year playoff drought in 2022 to 2023 with a record of 48-34 records. It would be recalled that Sabonis was acquired from Indiana in February 2022 in the deal that sent All-Star guard Tyrese Haliburton to the Pacers. Elsewhere, Nigerian defender William Troost-Ekong within the week completed a summer transfer to PAOK Thessaloniki FC of Greece from English Championship side Watford. Italian journalist Fabrizio Romano on Monday disclosed that Troost-Ekong has joined PAOK on the permanent deal after putting pen to paper on a 3-year contract with the Greek Super League club side. Earlier, reports suggest that Troost-Ekong was wanted by a host of clubs including Panathinaikos, Genoa, and Verona. Troost-Ekong returned to the Italian Serie A during the winter transfer window in January of this year after joining Salernitana on loan with an open to buy. The Nigerian defender made 73 Serie A appearances before scoring his first ever goal in the competition. And now on entertainment news, popular singer Simishola Kosoko, simply known as Simi, on Monday narrated how her husband, singer Adekunle Gold's persistence made her consider dating him during the early days of their careers. The singer said AG Baby, as he is fondly called, has been massaging her via Facebook for a long time, but that she did not notice until they started dating. She recounted how they eventually met at one of her concerts and how Gold's niceness made her accept dating him months later. The stranger Krona said they dated for 5 years before finally getting married in 2019, and they both have a daughter together. Still on entertainment, award-winning Nigerian singer Tiwa Savage is set to become the first female Afrobeat artist to headline the 13,000 Wembley Arena in the UK. In a live broadcast, Tiwa Savage spoke about her journey to superstardom, the influence of her Nigerian roots on her music performance at the Prince Charles coronation, and her upcoming show in the UK. The award-winning singer is set to headline the Wembley Oval Arena on November 26, 2023, in a historic performance she promises would be unforgettable. Meanwhile, Nigerian singer and rapper Kashino Ololade, popularly known as Lil Kesh, is teaming up with Young John for a new single. Lil Kesh teased the unreleased single titled Feeling Funny in a video with Nigerian singer-songwriter and record producer Young John. Reports say the single packs a beat that carries Lil Kesh's familiar flows and Young John's stellar melodies. Lastly, in the news within the week, famous American singer, songwriter and actress Selena Gomez within the week showered appreciation on Nigerian superstar Rema for changing her life forever. Reports say the duo teamed up on the remix of Rema's global hit Calm Down. Taking to her Instagram page, she thanked Rema for choosing her to be on the remix of Calm Down, which she described as one of the biggest songs in the world. Gomez declared to her 425 million followers that the 23-year-old Nigerian changed her life forever. She also declared her undying love for Rema. Meanwhile, Calm Down has surpassed 1 billion combined streams on YouTube and Spotify. The song was also recognized by Guinness World Records for securing a first #1 hit on the world's first regional streaming chart and first ever official chart in the Middle East and North Africa. And that's all we have for you in the news within the week. Don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. And also follow us on Twitter at spectrumtonline, or as one word. You've been watching Spectrum News within the week. I am Rachel David White. Enjoy the rest of your day.